Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I have a very fun video for you today. So, I got such a great response from the Why We Chose Foster to Adopt video I did, kind of celebrating Adoption Awareness Month, that is November, and I thought I would continue that because I got a couple questions that honestly each could have their own video. So, I thought I would address one today and kind of continue the theme of Adoption Awareness Month. And that was the question, do you get to choose the age or gender of the child for foster to adopt? This might work a little differently depending on your agency. This is kind of just how ours works, but I think it'll in general be very similar. So for regular foster care, obviously you don't really get to choose. You don't get to choose who's in the system and who's not. But you do get a call when they have somebody they're wanting to place with you. They'll tell you a little bit of information like gender and age, and you can say if you have room or if you can accept that placement or not. And you are always able to deny a placement if you don't feel capable of taking them. On the adoption side, the way it works with our agency is you look through this book with a bunch of profiles on the kids that are in the system and basically adoptable. And they put a percentage to each child as far as how likely to be adopted out they are, how likely it is if they'll go back to their parents or not, or to a family member, to kind of see what the likelihood with that child of a successful adoption happening would be. And you get to set that barrier for yourself. You get to decide how risky you want it to be. So when you look through these profiles, you get medical information, a background on the child, what their history is, their reason for entering foster care, age, gender, you get to see a picture, all of those kind of things, and you get to pick out of all of those profiles a child to foster and kind of try the matching, what the normal matching process in adoption is with them. So that side looks more like a regular adoption, whereas just doing foster care in hopes of finding an adoptable child would not, and it would be a little riskier. But you pick a child to foster and kind of try to match with. So you foster them for a while in hopes of pursuing adoption with them. And you see how they mesh. You see if it's a match. In those profiles, you get to choose which child you want to try. That sounds funny. Which child you would like to foster in hopes of adopting. So in that sense, you do get choices. And ahead of time, we are setting our preferences. Obviously, it's not like a shopping list or anything. The kids are going to be who the kids are. But we have some kind of idea for set up for this is what we would hope for or would be interested in as of right now. That can change, that can adjust, but right now this is what we're thinking. And so for us, right now what we're kind of talking about and thinking as far as the adoption side goes is 0 to 3 for age and a boy. For foster care, we aren't setting many boundaries with that. It can be girl or boy, whatever. And the age range we've given that we think is going to be what we would like is 0 to 12. And these, obviously, we have not done anything official with these. These are just kind of our ideas for what we think we're looking for right now and what we think right now we're able to handle. That can shift, that can change at any point in time. That doesn't mean they won't call us for a placement outside of those. And that doesn't mean they won't suggest a profile of a child outside of those if they feel like it would match really well. So those are just our ideas that we've kind of talked about and discussed, and that's where we think we're gonna land. So as far as if you get to choose, I mean, you get to choose what child you accept, or what child you accept for placement and what child you try to foster to adopt. You're not gonna obviously be able to choose who's in the system. So you do still have some choice, but you also have to be open to whatever, in our case, happens. So whatever God has planned for us, we're going to be open to. And these are kind of just our ideas of what we think we'd like. So you do get to choose a preference on all of those, and you do get to look through, in our agency, you get to look through profiles, and based off of the age, the gender, the history and background, medical conditions, you can decide out of that if that's a child you would want to pursue adoption with and go from there. So that is about what I know as far as getting to choose. I have not heard anything else much. I have not heard much different in other foster care videos I've watched or anything like that. It's mostly you kind of set a preference, set what you think your age range is going to be and what you would hope for gender, and look through the profiles and see what fits, what doesn't. And I think it's going to mostly be a journey, and we'll have to see what comes up. So that is that question. It's a super kind of interesting question to try to answer, because you kind of get a choice, you kind of don't. So it's interesting. Foster to adopt is very much, even on the adoption side of it, seeing what falls in front of you. And I think that's exciting. So I hope that helped. I hope that answered that question. If you have any other questions you would like to hear about, leave that in the comments below. And I hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with everybody. And if you were not already subscribed, click the screen and subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!